Alright, now we're doing lesson 1.08, bisectors and line relationships, and the objective in this lesson is to define and construct parallel and perpendicular lines, segment midpoints, and angle bisectors. Now, a lot of this lesson is going to be really short because a lot of this particular lesson is constructions, which you're going to have to be doing on your own with your compass and your straight edge that you have there at home. There will be constructions required on the part 2 of the unit test, so you do need to practice these and learn how to do them so you can complete them on the test. New terms that you're going to be seeing in this lesson are parallel lines and perpendicular lines. They may not be so new, hopefully they're review. First, we're going to say that parallel lines are coplanar lines that never intersect, means they're in the same plane but they never cross each other. Perpendicular lines are lines that meet at right angles. So if we look at this fence, you can see that the horizontal boards are perpendicular to the vertical boards. Okay, so here's your horizontal boards and they're perpendicular to the vertical boards. And all of the vertical boards are parallel, and just another note is your horizontal boards are also parallel to each other. You'll see parallel and perpendicular lines everywhere in your home, in sports, at the mall, etc. What I want you to get out of this is that to see that S is parallel to R, this is how we write it. It almost looks like the number 11, but the vertical lines are a little bit closer and taller. And then here you see K is perpendicular to M, or this is how we write it. K, and it's just an upside down capital T. K is perpendicular to M. And I just want you to make note of the symbols that are used for parallel and perpendicular, because they're very, very helpful when you start doing proofs later, because you don't want to write the word perpendicular too many times. So let's look at an example of parallel and perpendicular. It says Norm just built a railing for his flat level deck. He wants to be sure that the 3 rails are parallel to each other. And you've got this little picture here showing you what's going on. It says, how would you suggest that he test that the rails are parallel to each other? Well, this is one of those problems answers to where there's a lot of different ways to tell if they're parallel to each other. But our curriculum tells us that Norm could measure the width between the rails to make sure the widths are the same at 2 points along the rails. So say he took a measure here and he took a measure over here, and if they're the same width between the 2 rails, then they're going to be parallel. It says Norm's railing is supported by 2 vertical posts. How would you suggest that he check whether the posts are perpendicular to the deck? Again, there's probably different ways to answer this. Our curriculum tells us that he could use a compass to measure whether the angle at which the posts stand from the deck is 90 degrees. So he's going to measure right here and see if that would be 90 degrees. He's also going to measure this one over here, make sure it's 90 degrees. So then he knows both posts are going to be perpendicular to the deck. And last, it says, does he have to check that the posts are perpendicular to all 3 rails and to the deck or not? Let's look and see what it says. No, he just has to check whether the post is perpendicular to one of the rails, since all the rails are parallel. Okay, so if he's checked and made sure that the posts are perpendicular, and then he checks the top rail and makes sure that this is perpendicular right here, then he doesn't have to check all the rest of them. Okay, like I said, this one was really short because you've got a lot of practice that you have to do on your own. If you look at the problem sets, they ask you to construct different things. I've given you plenty of links to learn how to do constructions because it's something that I can't show you in our Class Connects. And what I would like for you to do is watch those links on how to do the constructions and then practice them in the problem sets, so that way you'll be ready for it when it comes test time. And here's some that show you how to do them with GeoGebra and how to use the compass and straight edge. What we've talked about today are parallel lines and perpendicular lines, and you're going to learn by watching the helpful videos on how to construct these with a compass and a straight edge. What you need to do after you watch this is read up in I think the LMS lesson teaches you a lot about using the compass and straight edge as well. You're going to read that LMS lesson, read pages 15 through 18 in the reference guide, and just for lesson 108 you're just going to work 3 problems, not a whole lot. And please, if you're having any problems, contact me, and especially before you take quiz 108, because there are no retakes or corrections for the quizzes. And then again, make note of any general questions that you have that you can share with us in Class Connect on Thursday. And that's the end of this lesson.